Yeah, what's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Prison Break Raw. I'm your host, the one and only Big JD. Go ahead, give this channel, subscribe, share, leave some messages or comments. Hit the thumbs up for the like, that notification bell to be informed on all episodes when they drop. And if you appreciate this video, please feel free to share it. Sharing is caring. Share it to your family, your friends, your coworkers, anywhere and everywhere in your social media platforms. Let's get this raw and uncut material out there to the millions that don't know we're here. Check out the plaque in the back and the plaque up there above the Prison Break Raw banner. My neighbor, Milo. Shout out to Milo for putting those together. He does a lot of that hobby and woodworking. He's a carpenter by trade, and he built me those two things to put up there. I got to fill in that blank spot behind me. You can see it looks real nice with that light hitting it just right. And just makes the studio backdrop look a whole lot better. So let's go ahead and get into this one right here. You heard the title right. You on a crime spree and your car runs out of gas. I have an experience like that I will never forget. I will never forget all the contributing factors that led up to it, the bad decisions, the piss poor thinking, and to put on top of all of that, you've been running amok for days, and you decide to do a little bit of meth with your boy, right? I got my boy, he's from a different neighborhood, but you know, we functioned together a lot. We did a lot of things together. We went on, busted a lot of licks. He's doing life right now in the system, and don't know if he'll ever get out. But back when we were younger, when we were kids, we was crazy as fuck. Weren't really thinking everything through all the time with every little situation that was going on. So I was pushing some weight, and I had a lot of bad situations, one after another, that just kept hitting me once, just one after another. It was hitting me to the point to where I was running low on cash. I was running low on supply. And what better way to go out and kind of like fatten up the bank? By doing a bunch of licks. Bunch of quick licks, you know, jacking people, doing robberies. Also maybe, you know, cover some loose ends in the process, go do some collections, whatnot. I'm driving around in an old beat-up ass 78 Chevrolet Caprice Classic. We used to call that car the gang unit because it looked like an old gang unit back in the day. In order for us not to get shot at in certain places, because that car did get shot at a couple of times, I spray painted the whole thing black primer. And we used to call it the gang unit. We used to drive around in that, mob around that big-ass boat all over the place. Big body swinging that car. And I went to pick my boy up. We got high. We ended up coming up on a Kenwood pull-out stereo. And this is where it all started. This is where everything started to go bad. Was this particular experience right here. So we got this big-ass Kenwood pullout, and if you know much about the pullouts back then, you know, you pulled it all the way out. It's like a little briefcase. You slide it in. The Chevrolet Caprice Classic had the original radio in there. It wasn't a tape deck. It wasn't an 8-track player. It wasn't nothing like that. It was just a standard stock stereo. So we're ripping out all the panel on the side of it, the trim, the dash cover, and everything off to get it installed. And when I was going to hit the wires, I don't know what I did wrong, but I shorted out all of the dash lights. The whole instrument panel, everything was shorted out. And we drove around like that because we didn't have fuses to stick back down in the fuse box. I didn't have the right fuses. Didn't even think to go get any fuses. Like I said, high as a fucking kite. Me and my boy were strapped. And we driving around. We decided to just go on a straight crime spree this night. We had gas. We had plenty of time. The sun was just going down. Like I said, Southern California, this is back shit, man. We're talking way back in like 92, 93. Way back in those days, right? So we're driving around in this car. We're running up on fools, jacking them, robbing them. We're like busting open garages and getting up into cars, seeing if we can get more stereos and more this and this and that. And just for the fun of it. Just to do it, just to get that rush, because it was always a rush. We're hitting up utility trucks, like work trucks, all this shit, man. We're shooting at people. We're running up in people's doors, pulling them out on the front and the porch, pistol whipping them, beating on them, people that owe money, chasing people down all night long. This was going on all night. Now, I don't know why this has always been a jinx for me, but it seems that every time we used to do things like this, right? Anytime somebody was in somebody's garage, because we used to call it garaging, some people call it hinking, right? Just for the fun, for the rush. You're bored, you're out there, you're doing it, right? And I don't know why this is like this, but it seems that every time we came up on a bag of golf clubs, we always got busted. I don't know why. What it was about those golf clubs, it was like a jinx. It got to the point to whenever I did it in the future and somebody's trying to grab a bag of golf clubs and tell them to drop that bag right there, them golf clubs are not coming in my car. Because the minute them golf clubs hit that trunk or that back seat, we're going to get pulled over. I don't know why. It's just weird like that. So, driving around, the homie gets all this like barbecue shit. Like we literally had like, it was a small gas barbecue and the trunk to the back of a Chevrolet Caprice Classic is huge. So we popped the trunk and we pushed this whole barbecue back there and we pulled it down. We tied it down with those nylon ropes and let it sit there like that. We had the back seat all full of all kinds of shit. There was money all over the place, wallets laying everywhere, all this shit, right? And then he gets the golf clubs. And I'm like, okay, so he gets the golf clubs and he throws them in. This is a definition of insanity. Like I said, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. This would be the third time that golf clubs had got me caught up. One time somebody brought me some golf clubs. They were trying to offer it to me to clear up their debt, and I got arrested right after that. Another time somebody stole some golf clubs out of somebody's garage. Me and a few of my other homies ran up on somebody, and on the way out, he grabbed a bag of golf clubs. We got pulled over and arrested. Now, here's this one. Perfect example of not having a control on your instrument panel because you can't see it. Pitch black in this car. The windows are all tinted and everything's pitch black in this car. And I didn't know where we were at as far as gas. I mean, we drove all the way up, man. We went out as far as I believe we went as far as like Canoga Park, and then we went all the way out about as far as fucking to the other side to Corona, all the way through Orange County, Southeast LA, driving all over the place all night long. It was finally about almost close to around maybe 3 o'clock in the morning. And we decided that we had enough. It was done. We were done. So we're driving down this street. It's called Malvern. Runs through the city of Fullerton on its way towards La Mirada. So you have Malvern runs down, and Malvern turns into La Mirada Boulevard right there at Beach Boulevard in the city of Buena Park. So my parents still lived in this condominium complex called the Highland Greens on the border of Buena Park and La Mirada. So we're going to my parents' house. And I'm flying down Malvern. I mean, I'm flying. I stopped at a red light, and then I picked up speed again because them Caprices, man, this shit had an engine in it, man, and it was flying. We were coasting. Next thing you know, the power cut off. Like there was literally like I was hitting the gas and it was nothing, but we were still moving. We were still going fast. And I look over the homie. I go, what's going on? He's like, well, what's happening? And he fucking hits the flashlight, little miniature Mac lights. Those little Mac flashlights, what are they called? Mac lights. They have big ones the cops used to use, but you have the little ones you can keep in your pocket. He looks up at the instrument panel and said, man, we're fucking out of gas. So we were straight out of gas, and I'm like, all right, well, the gas station is just down there on the corner of Malvern and Beach Boulevard. So I think we can make it there. I think we can make it. It's all downhill. I think we got this. And then we started to go uphill a little bit and then go downhill, and the car is just slowing down, slowing down. I'm like, I don't think we're going to make it, but we might get close enough to where we could just push it over that one last hill and then let it just coast down the hill, and we'll just pull it right into the gas station. Unfortunately, that was not going to be the case. As we're going down Malvern, we notice that there is a cop busting a U-turn, and he's getting into the turn lane to turn down the street called Country Club Drive. So we're driving, And the homie seen him, he goes, oh shit, a fucking hoorah right there. And I'm like, where? He goes, to your left. And I go, we should be able to just go just past him. Hopefully he ain't paying attention to us. So the cop stopped right here, and we're going, and this car's slowing, and stops. Right there next to the fucking cop. I'm looking over at him, he's looking over at me. I look over at my boy, and I start hitting, trying to, nothing, man. There's no power is nothing. It's dead. There's no gas. We're done. So the homie gets out and takes off running. So I'm sitting here thinking, well, I can't just get up and run too. I don't know why I didn't think to run either, but I mean, they would have caught me anyways because all them cops know who I am and they know what my car looks like. So I get out and I hit the fucking hazards and I start pushing the car. That cop turns around, whoop, gets behind me, hits on the speaker. JD, push it over to the side. He already knew who I was. So I get out and he's like, what's going on? What are you doing? I said, man, I ran, I guess. He goes, why'd your fucking boy take off running? I said, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just met this guy. He's like, yeah, whatever. And he's like, well, where's your license and all that? And I handed him all that. When I went to grab my wallet, I totally had forgotten that there was that little baggie that we had that meth in. That little bit of baggie, and there was a little bit of residue down at the bottom. When I pulled my wallet out, that fucking baggie went out flying, right on the ground. Cop looks at the baggie, looks at me, turn around, put your hands on your head and all that, cuffed me up, put me in the car. He's getting ready to tell me that we'll have somebody hold on to your car. We'll go over to your parents' house. We'll tell your mom or dad or something like that to get a tow truck over here and tow it. My other boy, his whole family had tow trucks. His family, and they had like 4 or 5 tow trucks. All I had to do was get somebody to call him, get him over there to get it and to tow it back to my house. But them goddamn golf clubs, man. The fucking golf clubs. He went and looked at the golf clubs and he's asking me, I can't remember what the name he said on it. He goes, who's such and I'm like, oh, it's a friend of mine, right? And he's like, yeah, it's a friend of mine too. He just so happens that he's a retired fucking police detective from Fullerton. Damn. Just like that, man. Busted. Goddamn golf clubs. So I made it a point from then on out. Anything that I was ever doing in my life, I made it a point and I stressed it to the fullest to everybody. Do not come anywhere near me with any fucking golf clubs at all. I don't golf. I don't like golf. I think it's boring as fuck. Yeah, I like going to miniature golf when I'm with a finance little honey, but don't bring me no golf clubs. Don't come around me with no golf clubs. Just keep the golf clubs all the way out of the equation, period. But that right there is a perfect example of the dumbest criminals ever. You're high as a kite, you ain't thinking, you're young, you're stupid, you're running around. And it's just like that, man. Luckily for me, though, I didn't get busted with a fucking strap. Because somewhere along the lines, more stupidity, it fell out of my fucking back pocket. And I lost it. Running around, doing something, jumping a wall. I don't remember how it happened, but I lost mine. And when he ran, he took his. And there was nothing else in that car that would have got me caught up. Fortunately, I guess that's the silver lining to the whole story. But the stupidity of it is if you're going to go out there and you're going to go on a crime spree, make sure that all your instrument panels are working and definitely stay away from the goddamn golf clubs. Moral of the story is basically just don't do this shit at all anyways, because you're going to get caught. No matter how smart you think you are, or how dumb you may be, or what kind of a luck streak you may be having, some factor of Murphy's Law is going to factor into that whole thing, and you're going to be caught up. Imagine, though, going to the police station and listening to all the cops laughing about the whole thing, watching the fucking video that's on his dash of the car coming to a complete stop. Fell right into their laps, man. Fell right into the hornet's nest. And that's what it is. No more golf clubs. No more doing that kind of stupid shit. Definitely always got to make sure that your gas tank is full and that your instrument panels are working. Another bad example is when people have a busted tail light or their lights are out or something. But this experience right here, it actually helped me grow in my criminal ways Because anytime that I ever got into a car, anytime I did anything after that, I made sure that everything was copacetic. All the lights worked, everything was on, the tags were up to speed, all that shit. So I guess there's that. But other than that, golf clubs and piss poor planning led to me going to jail. And I got busted with receiving stolen property. It was a misdemeanor. And that was that. Prison Break Raw, uncut, uncensored, no holds barred, not sugarcoated, not politically correct, all up in your face, slapping you with that dick of reality. And I'm out.